months. Vehikriv zvachim, and he brought karbanos, and that's the 2 year. That's the 24 months. That's the 2 years that we were missing. It happens to be that Rashi in Chumash doesn't learn it out from the plural of Sukkosa. He learns it from the first. It says Vayakov Nasa Sukkosa. That's one Sukkos. Vayivel Labayis. Umikneu Osa Sukkos. That's the second Sukkos. He doesn't learn it from the plural Sukkos. But Rashi here does, because they say, I think at the Marsha, someone says, because Vayakov Nasa Sukkosa, that was a place. He wasn't building a sukkah. The Marsha also mentions, which is important, he says, wait a second, he wasn't in Beis Kel for 6 months. He had gone to Shechem, and he had the whole story with Dinah and the other places. So why are we saying why are we only mentioning Beis Kel? So he says, because you might think since he was in Beis Kel to bring karbanos, he shouldn't get punished there. So we're trying to say even the part of time that he was in Beis Kel, even though he went to do karbanos, he still had an obligation for Kibbud Avayim. Okay, we finished the Perek. Hadron Allah Megillah Nekras Mazel Tov. We have to do a Chazar. The new 5-blot test came out on Daf Yubez, Yugimel, Yudal, Tesvav, and Tezayim. Okay, says the Mishnah in the second Perek of Megillah. Hakoreas HaMegillah L'Mafreya. If someone reads the Megillah backwards, out of order, Lo Yotze, you're not Yotze. You're not Yotze. Kara Peh, if you read it by heart. Kara Targum, you read it in Targum. B'chol Lashon, and for sure if you read it in any other language, which doesn't have any holiness, Targum at least has something. Lo Yotze, you're not Yotze. Avol Koran or so L'Lah Zos Balaz. You're allowed to read it L'Lah Zos for people that use foreign languages. Balaz in their foreign language. The Gemara, of course, is going to ask, so could you or you can't? You first said you can't read it in Targum or in any language. And then you're saying that you're allowed to read it in a foreign language for those that speak a foreign language. The Gemara is going to speak about that, and we'll get to that in Mirz Hashem. V'aloi sheshama Ashuris, and someone who speaks a foreign language that hears it in Ashuris, Lashon HaKodesh in Hebrew, Yotza, he is Yotze. Kara Sirugin, if you read it in, you read and you stop, and you read and you stop. Rashi says, Sirugin, B'Gemara Mefarish, Kara Ma'adu Posek, V'Chozer Posek, keep on stopping. Umisnatnem, or you're dozing off, and the Gemara is going to explain exactly in what way you're dozing off a little bit. Yotze or Yotze. Hayakosva, if you were writing it, Darsha, or expounding upon it, Umagia, or fixing it, in Kivin Libo, if you had in mind to be Yotze the mitzvah, Yotze or Yotze, Vimlav, if you didn't, Lo Yotze, you're not Yotze. The Gemara is going to explain what does it mean. You're writing it, what do you mean? You can't write the Megillah and be Yotze just by, as you write it, Vayi, Bimei Achashverosh, Achashverosh, that doesn't work. The Gemara is going to explain exactly what that means, that you have another Megillah in front of you and you're reading from that Megillah. Darsha, the same thing, or Magia, and fixing it. You're expounding upon it and you're fixing it. In Kivin Libo Yotze, if you had in mind to be Yotze, you're Yotze. Vimlav lo Yotze. Hoysek Suva, if you wrote the Megillah Besam, in a more of a yellow type of ink, Uvasik, or a reddish type of ink. Uvakumos, the Gemara is going to say, is sap. Uvakankantum, the Gemara is going to explain that it means like a shoemaker's black that you can't erase. And we learned from Sota that you have to be able to erase the ink. Alaniyar, you wrote it on thick paper from a certain plant. Valadiftora, or on unfinished parchment. Lo Yotze, you're not Yotze. Ajte Ksuva Ashuris, you have to make sure to write it in Hebrew. Al HaSefer, on completed parchment, on finished parchment. Ubedio, and on black ink that's erasable. Says the Gemara. Mino animili. How do we know, says Rashi, Dil Mafreya Lo Yotze, how do we know that if you read it out of order, you're not Yotze? Amarava da Amakra, because it says in the Pasuk, Chsavam Uchizmanom, that the Jews accepted the Yontif and the Megillah, Chsavam Uchizmanom, the way it was written and in its time. And so we compare the writing to the time. Mazmanom. Let's look up the pasuk for a second. Mazmanom lemafreya, just like the time. Lemafreya lo, time doesn't go backwards. Af ksavam lemafreya lo. So too, when you're writing the Megillah, you cannot write the Megillah backwards. So therefore, you see, you can't write the Megillah backwards. The problem is, we weren't talking about writing the Megillah backwards. We mentioned that you can't read the Megillah backwards. That's what the Gemara now asks. Midi kriya ksiva. Does it say anything about reading, that you can't read it? Midi kriya ksiva hacha asiya ksiva. Right? It just says that it's written about asiya. It says kich savam uchiz manam, writing it and the zman, but it doesn't say a word about reading. Asiya ksiva. It says asiya dichsiv, like it's written in the pasuk lios osem eshnei ayomim lios osem eshnei ayomim eila. That, I'm sorry, I'm reading this. That's Ella. Dichsiv lios osem eshnei ayomim, like it says that you lios osem, that you make eshnei ayomim, the days. So it says that it doesn't say a word about kriyas Megillah. It says Gemara el mehacha. Rather, we'll learn out from a different pasuk. We learn out from this pasuk. Dichsiv, it says in the pasuk right there, vayomim ha'ela niskarim v'nasim, that these days would be remembered and v'nasim, and done and celebrated. Niskarim, we know, means kriya, reading the Megillah. Niskarim, you remember it by reading it. Iskish schira l'asiya. So there we compare remembering it to asiya, to fulfilling it. Ma asiya l'mafreya lo. Just like when you do it, when you celebrate it, l'mafreya lo, you can't celebrate it backwards. The 14th comes, those that celebrate on the 14th do that, and then the 15th comes, l'mafreya lo, it's not possible. Av schira, so too, when you remember it by reading it, l'mafreya lo, you can't go backwards. Tana, we learned in a Tosefta, v'chein b'Hallel, so too with Hallel, when we read Hallel on Yom Tif and on Rosh Chodesh, you can't go out of order. It's a machlokus in the poskim if that means that you can't even do the paragraphs out of order. For sure, the words in the psukim, but the paragraphs, it's a question. V'chein b'Kriya Shema, so too in Kriya Shema. You can't go out of order. There you could do the paragraphs out of order. Ubetfila and Shmon Esrei, Hallel minol. And how do we know that Hallel can't be out of order? Rabba says, Tichsiv, like it's written in the pasuk, Mi Mizrach Shemesh Ad Mevo. From when the sun comes up until it sets. So therefore, we just like that doesn't go out of order. And we read that in Hallel, Mimizach Shem Shad Mevo, so too the praise of Hashem you don't do out of order. Says Rashi, the Yeshashi Tesvav, Mimizach Shem Shad Mevo, Kishem, 2 lines from the bottom in Rashi, Kishem Shashkio Zricha Sacham Lo Yaphu, just like the setting of the sun, and when the sun comes up, Lo Yaphu, it doesn't go out of order. Right? Mizrach Shemesh, from the time the sun sets, Ad Mavo, until it rises, it's never out of order. So too, Kach Muhul Shem Hashem, V'lo Mafreya, and you can't do it backwards. Rabbi Yosef says, Zeh Hayom Asa Hashem. In Hallel we sing, we say, Zeh Hayom Asa Hashem, Nagila V'nismachavo, this day Hashem made. So therefore says Rashi, Zeh Hayom, just like the order of the day, that you can't change the order of the day, the hours go in order. 12, 1, 2. They can't go backwards, so too the praise of Hashem can't go backwards in Hallel. Rav Avia says, Yihi Shem Hashem Evorach. It says that the name of Hashem should be blessed. Says Rashi, Yihi, it should be the way it is. Ki Aviyasu Yehei. Hol Hashem Rechosa consider, you have to praise Him in the order that we have. For Rav Nachmar Yitzchak, V'Tamer Rav Acha Bar Yaakov Amar, Rav Nachmar Yitzchak, and some say Rav Acha Bar Yaakov say Me'ocha, that it says Me'ata v'ad olam, from now and forever. That that just like now comes before the past comes before now, and now comes before the future, from now and forever is in order, so too the Hal has to be in order. Kriya Shema. How do we know that Kriya Shema has to be in order? The Tani, because we learned in the Brisa, Kriya Shema Kichsava, that Kriya Shema says Rashi, B'Lashon HaKodesh, Kichsava has to be written in Lashon HaKodesh, V'lo B'Lashon HaAcher, Divrei Rebbe. Rebbe says it has to be written in Lashon HaKodesh, V'Chacham and the Chacham say B'chol Lashon, it can be written in any language. My time of the Rebbe. What's the reason? The Gemara is now going to go through a little bit of a lengthy, just a couple of lines until it comes to teach us how we know that Kriya Shema can't be written out of order. The Chacham say B'chol Lashon. It can be written in any language. My time of the Rebbe. Why does Rebbe say it can't be in any? It can only be in Hebrew, in Lashon HaKodesh. The Amar Kra, because the pasuk says V'hayu. It says V'hayu advar ma'ela, that these words that we say in Shema V'hayu advarim ma'ela, and that means B'haviyasanu V'hayu, and they are B'haviyasanu, the way they are. They have to be the way they are, which is in Lashon HaKodesh. The Rabbanon my taima. What's the reason of the Rabbanon that could be in any language? The Amar Kra Shema. It says Shema, B'chol Lashon, Shata Shomea, any language that you understand. The Rebbe Nami, I asked the Gemara, Ksiv Shema. Rebbe also, it says Shema, it has to be, so that sounds like it could be in any language you understand. Says the Gemara, Humi Boile, he learned something else from Shema. Hashma lo'oznecha, mashata motzi mipicha. You have to hear what's coming out of your mouth. So when you're saying Shema, you can't just mumble it or say it without hearing it. You have to say out of your mouth, at least in a whisper, and hear what you're saying. Rabbanon Savri, how do the Rabbanon learn that? They learn from Shema that it could be written, that you could write it in any language. So they learn that you could write it in any language. So how do they know that you have to hear what you're saying? Rabbanon Savri Kamanda Amar, the Rabbanon hold like the one that says Hakori Shema v'lo yishmi lo yatsa, that if you didn't hear the Shema, you're still yotze. So that's okay. Ask the Gemara of Rabbanan Nami Aksiv V'hayu, that we know that Rebbe learns that V'hayu means B'aviyasin Yehu, that has to be written in Lashon HaKodesh. So how could the Rabbanan say? So what do the Rabbanan say? Learn from V'hayu that they don't learn that? Says the Gemara of Rabbanan Nami Aksiv V'hayu, Hahumi Boile, they learn from V'hayu Shalo Yikra L'Mafreya, that you should not read it L'Mafreya. And that's what we're learning in our Gemara, that you shouldn't read Shema backwards or in out of order. Ask the Gemara of Rebbe. Rebbe doesn't have that pasuk of V'hayu available, because he already used V'hayu, the top line, to tell you that it has to be written in Hebrew. So how does he know that you can't read L'Mafreya? For Rebbe, Shlo Yikra L'Mafreya Minole. How does he know it can't be read L'Mafreya? Says the Gemara, Midvarim, that it could say V'hayu advarim ha'ela, it says. V'hayu advarim ha'ela. Could have said V'hayu dvarim ha'ela. That it could have said dvarim without a hey. What's hadvarim? Hadvarim teaches us you shouldn't, hadvarim, these words, this is the way it should be read. It shouldn't be read out of order, backwards. What do the Rabbanan do with the extra hey? For Rabbanan dvarim, hadvarim, that it says hadvarim instead of dvarim, lo mashmalu, they don't learn that it teaches us anything. Have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day. Mirz Hashem, tomorrow or the next day we will finish Yud Zayin Amud Beis. Thank you for listening.